Yo, what's up? I'm KallaTheYapper, and I'm back with another reaction. Today I'm going to react to this video made a month ago by Nex Noxora, yeah, Noxora, or just Nox. She made this video a month ago saying, "Is Zenless falling into a design trope?" And I already know what this video is going to talk about. It's going to talk about Yidhari, Lucia, and Shifu rather. I'm gonna say this right now. I don't agree with the idea that Zenless is falling into a design trope based off 3 characters alone, especially when we had 5 characters released after Shifu that looked completely different to Shifu, and then you had Lucia and Yidhari come out after those 5, and then now we're getting characters from the Krampus faction who look completely different to Shifu, Lucia, and Yidhari. I think the only one that would look that resemble anything close to those 3 would be Yi, the new Void Hunter coming in 2.5. I can't pronounce her name for the life of me, so I just call her Yi. But even that's a bit of a stretch because, of course, her design elements are different. She got the whole Chinese dress thing going on, showing off the thighs. Ooh, oh my god. I ain't gonna lie, the red tat with the white hair was tough. If anybody's seen how she looks, obviously you should have at this point with the YouTube short. Another thing I want to say before I start the reaction is I personally have a gripe with artists for 2 reasons. For one reason being is that I guess I'm just not that much of a fan of seeing artists criticize other people's artwork to be like, oh, I would fix your art doing XYZ. And mind you, the type of fixing art that they're talking about is not from a place of, oh, let me blackwash the character or make them fat and repulsive, right? And mind you, this is coming from a black man myself. I hate when people do that shit and be like, oh, I fixed your artwork. Look how good my art was. It's like, no, it's not. You blackwashed it and think it's good art. Shut the fuck up. I have a gripe with people who do that type of shit. But I also have a gripe with people being like, oh, I'll fix your art by... I want to fix your art because I don't think it's good type shit. And it's like, I just don't like it personally. Now people like, I'm not going to stop people from doing it. I just not a big fan of it personally. It's like, you have your artwork, they have their artwork, let it be. Right? But hey, you know, criticism is criticism nonetheless. Right, regardless of how I feel about it. Now, I think I said everything I needed to say. Now, if you hear me say some choice words, please excuse that. That's just that side of me of not liking, like I expressed just seconds ago, coming out in force. That is how I am. Now, let's get to this. Let's start the video.
I praised Zenless so.
Oh yeah, I need to say this as well. Yeah, I've seen at least one of her videos before about Wuwa character designs when it came down to like the same color palette that they were using for the version 1 characters. So I think that's the only thing I know from this content creator. Oh, also I think they also made a video talking about Natlan character designs as well. I believe, I can't remember. Anyway, let's continue.
Last year, I praised Zenless Zone Zero's designs for being unique and the willingness to experiment. I liked that we had robot characters, and while I'm not a furry fan, I liked that we had these characters. It gave the player more variety and options to play with, and I hoped that these amazing character design ideas would continue onto Season 2. In another...
Well, this is a month old, but we know that they clearly carried it on to the future, knowing that we're getting more... full-blown animalistic character in the form of Zhao. We're getting a robot character, full-blown robot, no human, that is Banyue. So there's that. So the concern is, well, this was a month ago, but the concern clearly didn't carry. It was nothing to worry about. I'll say that right now.
and I hope that these amazing character design ideas would continue onto Season 2. In another video I made about ZZZ, I discussed my concerns for Season 2, mainly regarding the story, but I never imagined I'd be here talking about the character designs. Recently, this photo has been floating around social media, and I can see why. We're having 3 characters released almost back to back with a similar outfits.
Back to back is a stretch. I'm sorry. No. That's a stretch. To say back to back as if it's like 1 month after the other, those two didn't come out until about 2 months later. No, hold up. 2.0, 2.1, 2.3. 2.3. These two characters didn't come out till about 3 months later. So they're not even back to back. I feel like that was a stretch. And I know there's people who also was like, oh, they releasing these characters with similar design elements back to back. And even then, I was like, this is a stretch. And I'll say this. I blame the people I blame for this, for doom posting about Zenless because of these 3 characters. I blame Saint Tontas for pushing it. I blame the people who were upset because their male character wasn't a 5-star character. It's like, I don't care that he's a 5-star or not. He's a cool character, and guess what? They even respected. They even gave the character respect, like they gave Seth respect back in like version 1.1 when he released alongside Jane Doe, I believe. Or some shit, right? So it's like we're using 3 characters to be like, oh, the game fell off in character design. It's like, come on now.
You're talking about the character designs. Recently, this photo has been floating around social media, and I can see why.
And another thing about this is that, again, these are 3 female characters with similar design elements at the bottom right here. Not above, but the bottom. We could make the same complaint about these 3 having this type of shit with characters from season 1. Unfortunately, I didn't pull up characters from season 1 for my example. I brought up I brought up Obel Squad and whatnot. So actually, I think should I do it now? I think I got time to do it now. Let me do this now. Okay, Zenless. Let's do Nicole. Now, the point I want to make is that these characters have similar design elements to each other. That's the point I want to make here. As soon as I figure out... Oh, there we go. Here we go. All right. Okay, this is too much fan art. I ain't trying to find the fan art. I'm trying to find character design. Unfortunately, I don't want to click the Wikipedia because the Wikipedia fucking... the shit pisses me off. Oh, concept. All right, I think this would be good enough. Can I zoom in on this? I can zoom in on it. Oh, wow. This is like a toy model of the character. Anyway, you see this? She got the hot pants on with the ripped jean hot pants shit, right? She got this going on. We have at least 2 other characters wearing the exact same thing as her. Peep game. I really want to show this. Okay, hope God no spicy artwork pops up on here. That's really not gonna be good right now. Okay. Hopefully, can we even see that? Okay, yeah, here we go. Another female character. Similar design element. Hot pants, ripped jeans. Now, her ripped jeans got more puff in it, right? It's got bigger amount of puff in it in comparison. Even her shirt, you could argue, is similar to Nicole's. Now let's go another character. Crap. Here we go. Lucy. Same thing. For the love of God, get off my screen. Come on now. I don't know why this shit acting up right now. Okay. Similar thing. You see it? Ripped short jeans, puffy pieces. Now, Each one of them have their own unique, distinct version of these. That is, that is obvious, right, to see. The thing is, they're all having the exact same design element as each other. That's the thing. That's the core thing about this right here. So when I see people complain about, let's go back to the video. These three, they ignore the fact that each three of these are using different design elements to this similar design element. Rather, I'm not an artist, just to let y'all know, but it's just like, it's something worth pointing out to why this whole complaint about these three characters having similar design elements is just retarded to me. It's like, why we are not pointing out the obvious different design pieces that's around this whole area. Are these two wearing the exact same thing? No, they're not. And like, the only similarity you have is like, oh, this area. But like, even with this area, they all executed it differently. They're not wearing the one-to-one exact same thing that Shifu is wearing. So in the similar vein as the three characters I showed, Nicole, Pokra, and Lucy, they're wearing the exact same hot pants type. But each one is executed differently, which is why I did not find this to be an issue for these character designs at all, and started being like, oh, oh, look, Zenless has lost its quality in character design. It just doesn't make sense to me to bitch about these three having similar design elements. Yet, if we really want to talk about similar design elements, we can look back at every version 1 character, and if you look at these three, you're gonna find characters with similar shit to each other. For example, Yadhari. Let me show Yadhari real quick. Yadhari. You see these? You see these plug pieces that she got on her arm, on her wristbands, right here? Guess who else has this that we've seen in the game? Don't worry, I got you. For anyone not piecing it together, it's Anby. Here you go, this is a good image. PBM, you see that? You see those big fat ass plugs or electro plugs, whatever the freak you call these, that she has on her outfit. These are the exact same shits that Yadhari got going on right here. Yeah, they're smaller, but it's the exact same thing. Anyway, hopefully my point was proven with what I showed. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Character designs. Recently, this photo has been floating around social media, and I can see why. We're having 3 characters released almost back to back with a similar outfit style. To make matters worse, 2 of these characters were not hinted in the story before their reveal.
That, I'm gonna say this right now, this right here is a bad take. The reason I say this is because Genshin, Star Rail, Zenless, even Wuwa has released characters that didn't appear in the story at all and were drip marketed before their release, or right when the version before their release was about to come out. So this whole thing of, oh, well, the character didn't appear in the story beforehand, therefore, or this character is bad, the design for the character is bad, or doesn't justify their design, is stupid. I would like to ask anybody who's watching this right now who disagrees. Tell me, for Withering Waves, did you know that Lupa, Augusta, who else came out there? Lupa, Augusta, Galbrena, at least for those characters, right? You know, Augusta, Galbrena, and Lupa. There we go. For those characters in particular, did y'all know that those characters were going to appear in the latter half of version 2 for Withering Waves? After we finished the version 2.3 story. Did y'all expect to see those characters appear? Or shoot, even before we got to version 2.3. When 2.0 released its concept trailer or whatever that showed off and flexed their characters of version 2, did you expect the characters I mentioned earlier, those being Lupa, Augusta, Yuno, Galbrena, and at least those right there, did y'all expect those characters to appear in the story? Yes or no? Were they drip marketed, or not drip marketed, were they mentioned at any point in the story before their appearance? The answer is no, they weren't. The only reason I don't mention Frolova because Frolova was in the story since A1 day 1. But outside of that, the rest of the characters never appeared in the story prior to their drip marketing and prior to any story that we were doing. So this whole point of, oh, because they didn't appear in the story, therefore it doesn't justify their character design or even justifies their 5-star rarity is such bullshit. Because there's a whole bunch of characters that appeared in the story that were drip marketed or never appeared in the story, that didn't even appear in the story, that end up being 5 stars and 4 stars or whatever. Case in point, for Section 6, they appeared in the story. No, let me not use Section 6. Oh, here we go. The Sons of KallaTheYapper. Damn near the entire Sons of KallaTheYapper group had appeared in the game before version, I believe, 1.3 even dropped, or 1.2. No, version 1.2. Before version 1.2 dropped, we had version 1.0 and 1.1. Guess what? So many characters, members of the Sons of KallaTheYapper faction, appeared in the game before, right? They even appeared in the story. Because you will catch them, oh, here they are wandering the street. Who's that character? They didn't appear in the story at all, but they were appearing on the street. By the same token of this logic of, oh, because they didn't appear in the story, therefore it invalidates the character design or invalidates their rarity. Guess what? The same has to apply to the entirety of the Sons of KallaTheYapper faction, because they did not appear in the main story until version 1.2 dropped. Same logic. The same thing with Wuwa. Star Rail. Let me think of Star Rail. For Star Rail, you had Seadra, High Sealins, Evernight, Imbiber Donghung. I think that's it. I think that's the latter end of the Chrysalis layers. Mind you, before those characters came out, we had no idea who those other characters were because they were blanked out in the original 3.0 teaser trailer for Amphorius. We didn't know who those characters were going to be because they were blanked out. They were blank spaces. We had no idea who they were going to be, right? They didn't even appear in any bit of the story before version 3.4. It's not until version 3.5 and 3.6 do those characters appear in the story. Right? So same logic by that. But apparently for Zenless to do it, it's deemed as a bad thing to do. But Wuwa, Zenless, and even Genshin can get away with doing it. But Zenless doing it is a bad thing. That makes sense. Mind you, this is no shot towards the creator of this video. It's me taking a shot at the argument itself.
Style. To make matters worse, 2 of these characters were not hinted in the story before their reveal, making them seemingly come.
Also, another thing too that I need to say is that for all these gacha games, in particular for these Hoyo games, they do this thing where, or rather, let me talk about Zenless in particular. Zenless Zone Zero, they have been showing off characters who had never appeared in the story at all before they appeared in the story via limited time events. Right? They've been doing that since day one. For example, who was it? I believe. I think Vivian was a character that we came across in a limited time event randomly. We didn't know who that character was. We was like, ooh, look at this character. They're nice. They look nice. And of course, we've had that happen multiple times. Even Lucia and Yidhari appeared in a limited time event in version 2.2, which was the patch that came out a month before their character release in version 2.3. So these characters do appear in the game, they just don't appear in the story mode, like they did with the Sons of KallaTheYapper. Again, it was not an issue, but people wanted to make it an issue for God knows what reason other than just a doom post about Zenless. They say, oh, the game's falling off.
Matters worse, 2 of these characters were not hinted in the story before their reveal, making them seemingly come out of nowhere. But wait, it gets weirder. One of the new characters, Lucia, was officially drip marketed and everything, but then her design got changed. Let's talk about that. When designing characters, you are bound to run into similarities. In fact, these similarities can be used to your advantage. Taking right from Zenless Zone Zero, the character factions in Season 1 all had similarities that complemented each other. The Victorian housekeeping are all various Victorian stories, and their maid/butler outfits tie them together while also being distinctly individual. The Bellabog industry characters are all wearing proper shoe wear for the type of work that they do, and they all have some type of tool as their weapon that aids them in the construction field. The public security faction all has different uses of a traditional police uniform, aside from Jane because she specializes in undercover missions. And with the Section 6, they all have a uniform but they're worn differently and uniquely to the character's personality. These are ways character designs can be similar to each other without overlapping. Where this conversation comes in is with the...
I'm going to say this right now. Look how obvious she chose, obviously, the factions that are organized groups. She didn't mention the Astra Yao faction. I forgot, it's the Starloop faction. She didn't mention the Sons of Caledon. She didn't mention Cunning Hares. She didn't mention Mockingbird, nor Opal Squad. And at the time of this video, well, she might mention Spook Shack, but yeah. We have 6 group. No, how many did I count my finger? I counted 5. We got about 5 groups in the game. Now counting Krampus faction, so now that's 6. So we have 6 groups in the game that are either organized groups or non-organized groups that do not wear a uniform, but they also share design elements with each other. Right? But of course, like, I guess no fault on her, but it's just like, it's an obvious thing to point out, oh, the organized grouped characters that are from whatever business or organization are dressed similar to each other. Right? It's an obvious point to make.
Character designs can be similar to each other without overlapping. Where this conversation comes in is with these 3 T's at the beginning is that we might be starting to lose the strong character design concept. Yishuan, Lucia, and Yidhari all have a similar outfit cut, but Yishuan is part of Swabian Temple while the other 2 are part of Spook Shack. Looking at the other Spook Shack members, we have Alice, Yuzaha, and Manato, who are all students. As of writing, this next version hasn't come out yet, so we don't know how Lucia and Yidhari tie into Spook Shack, but as of right now...
But actually we do. We do know. We even knew back before these 2 characters even came out. They're a part of Spook Shack because Spook Shack is a online forum. Meaning, these niggas are Discord friends. to keep it so that people can understand easier, which it should have been easy to understand to begin with, is that these niggas are Discord friends. Every member of Spook Shack is in some way or form Discord friends. That's what they are. They're an online form of Discord friends. They love sharing their infatuation with supernatural anomalies and this, that, and the third, right? That's the whole point of the group. So, because of that, you're going to have people of all walks of life come and join this group. Monato, he's supposed to be a student, but he doesn't dress like one. Alice and Yuzaha do, though, but he doesn't. But no one complains about his design because, because he is Monato, therefore we're going to excuse him. Like, he doesn't dress like a student at all. But if we're excusing Monato, but we're not excusing Lucia and Yahira because of their designs, it's like, what are we talking about here? Mind you, only 2 of them dress like students. The dude doesn't dress like a student at all. He dresses like a thug. And the other 2 dress bizarre in their own way because they're bizarre individuals, which is the whole point of this group, is meant to be a whole bunch of online Discord friends who are bizarre individuals, which surprisingly, they all have their own personal family issues in some way, shape, or form, whether it be directly because of their family or because of outside force that has affected their family. And which makes it all the more sad and beautiful that this group of random people come together to form this Spook Shack faction, right? There's beauty in it.
Members, we have Alice, Yuzaha, and Manato, who are all students. As of writing, this next version hasn't come out yet, so we don't know how Lucia and Yidhari tie into Spook Shack, but as of right now, it's very disjointed. The original 3 work well together having various student uniforms, but these 2 seem like they could be part of the...
She just said the first three work together because they have various student uniforms. Can someone tell me what exactly student uniform is Minato wearing? Alice and Yuzuha is blatant. It's obvious. But what about Minato is student uniform? Let me pull up Minato. Again, this is not me clowning her on her as an individual, but I'm just pushing back on this point because this point doesn't make sense. No. Here we go. Let's take a look at Minato. What about Minato screams student uniform? There's nothing about his outfit that screams this is a student uniform in the slightest. This screams, yo, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug. Step to me crazy if you want to, you getting blended to the floor. So I don't grasp this point. But I will grasp this point. Homeboy shoes, you see them kicks on his feet? Them shit's clean to the mother. Oh my goodness gracious. This nigga got nothing but swag. Anyway, back to the video. Let's get back to the video. I'm not trying to make this a long reaction. Or longer than it needs to be.
Of their own faction entirely. I'm really curious to their role. These two seem like they could be part of their own faction entirely. I'm really curious to their role in the story and how.
Actually, let me go back. Let me do her justice so she can say her entire point.
To be in Temple while the other two are part of Spook Shack. Looking at the other Spook Shack members, we have Alice, Yuzuha, and Minato, who are all students. As of writing, this next version hasn't come out yet, so we don't know how Lucia and Yadhari tie into Spook Shack, but as of right now, it's very disjointed. The original three work well.
She's saying it's very disjointed, but that's the point. That's the point of the faction. It's meant to be disjointed because, again, they're all online Discord friends. That's why they're disjointed. There's not supposed to be an organized design of character design for them. They're meant to be disjointed. It's on purpose. It's like kind of blatantly obvious. No. Again, this is not me clowning on her. I'm just stating the obvious. It's supposed to be like that.
Ari tie into Spook Shack, but as of right now, it's very disjointed. The original three work well together, having various student uniforms, but these two seem like they could be part of their own faction entirely. I'm really curious to their role in the story and how they fit because the design alone aren't giving us much clues. But I also think that we might be getting ahead of ourselves. In my Honkai Star Rail fatigue video, there were over 5+ characters with the same design style. I think it's when we reach a threshold like that where it becomes a bit ridiculous. 3 designs like the ones we're getting in Zenless Zone Zero I don't think is enough to call this an official design fatigue issue. I think the reason why it's on many players' minds right now is due to how close in proximity these characters are being released. Where it gets weird is with Lucia. She had a design ready to go and yet it was changed seemingly last minute. Not only that, but the change makes her less unique. The crisscross with the underboob showing was actually different from the other two. Yes, she still had the underwear shorts, but at least her top was different. Now, it's really not. It makes us wonder as to why they...
I will say this, the whole complaint about the top not feeling different, as we saw with the image beforehand, before we got this deep into the video, all 3 of them have different top pieces. Oh, hold up. This is not right. But you get the point. You saw what Lucia looked like earlier before we clicked off to here, right? Her top is completely different from Lucia's. Her top is completely different from Lucia's and Yadhari's. And Yadhari's is completely different from Lucia and Shifu's. So this whole point of their tops make them all feel similar, to me, that point feels mute and it doesn't feel like it holds much weight, in my opinion. That's just me. Because by this sense of logic, this whole triangular shaped open, cleavage, my bad, my apologies. No, it is cleavage. No, I'm gonna say breasts. How about that? Open breast view top, right? We there's been other characters in the game with similar things to this, like I showed earlier with Nicole, with Pokra. Who's another character I can mention? Nicole, Pokra, Bernice. Actually, let's pull up Bernice right now. Also, Bernice is my girl. I pulled on her and I got her and I won that 50-50. It was great. Go check it out on my YouTube shorts and my video, because I made a video about it a year ago. So go check it out. Now, hold up. Let's just wait for this to load. This is probably going to be one of my shorter reactions if I can get this done fast. I started this like a minute or two after 8 o'clock hit. Mind you, it's November 25th as of me doing this reaction. Please forgive the slowness of my computer, because unfortunately I got so many open tabs here. Okay, maybe I should delete the tabs I don't need open. Let's delete these. Probably gonna make this thing move a little faster because of that. Because usually that's the case. Hold up. Pause. Come on. Don't be doing this to me now of all times during the midst of a reaction. This is the one thing I hate doing when it comes down to me doing this whole open tab shit. Shit like this happens and it just like, it fucks up the flow of what I've got going on here. And there's no other way for me to pop up an image without waiting for this shit to finish doing what it's doing. Anyway, I don't even think I should even bother pulling up Bernice's character design. Y'all niggas know how Bernice look like. And her top piece looks completely different from everyone else here, despite the fact the symmetry of the top piece looks similar. Has this similar feel to it. All their top pieces look different from each other. That's the point I'm making. Okay, where was I at? Okay, I think it was about right here.
And why it's on many.
Now, I do agree with her take of people blowing it out of proportion or being too quick to doom post about it because they are released within proximity of each other. Now, that I do agree with. But I do believe at the same time, again, like I said at the beginning of this reaction, that individuals like Saint Tontas and the individuals who didn't like the fact that their Monato was going to be a 4-star unit played a role in overblowing this whole conversation about these 3 character designs and being like Zenless fell off in terms of his character designs because of 3 characters. Not 10, not 4, not even 5, but based off 3 characters who, mind you, 2 characters of the 3 were released 3 months after the first one, which is a good gap in time. 3 months is a little 90 days, almost 100 days. That's a lot of time between each one. That's not even back to back. So because of that, it played a role in why people doom posted about this and said, like I said earlier, Zenless Zone Zero has fallen off in terms of character designs, which I 100% disagree with. Especially with how Krampus is looking like, how a new member of Swabian Temple is looking like. It's like, we look like we're cooking, they're eating and cooking pretty good right now. I don't think we've had a hiccup. I think people are just blowing it over out of proportion. Or rather, they blew it out of proportion.
Or over 5+ characters with the same design style. I think that's when we reach a threshold like that where it becomes a bit ridiculous. 3 designs like the ones we're getting in Zenless Zone Zero I don't think is enough to call this an official design fatigue issue. I think the reason why it's on many players' minds right now is due to how close in proximity these characters are being released. Where it gets weird is with Lucia. She had a design ready to go and yet it was changed seemingly last minute. Not only that, but the change makes her less unique. The crisscross with the underboob showing was actually different from the other 2. Yes, she still had the underwear shorts, but at least her top was different. Now, it's really not. It makes us wonder as to why they made this change, and many are believing that it's for visual.
No, come on, don't do this to me now of all times, for the love of God, bro. Oh my lord.
The underwear shorts, but at least her top was different. Now, it's really not. It makes us wonder as to why they made this change, and many are believing that it's for visual appeal.
Please forgive me that this is happening right now. I don't know what the F is going on right now. This is the worst time for this to be happening. It's not even on auto. That's the worst part. All this should be loaded up already, seeing as I've been pausing so many damn times.
Seemingly last minute.
Now, I do agree the fact that they changed her design last minute did feel weird, because honestly, if they didn't feel like the design was ready to go, they shouldn't have drip marketed her first. They should have drip marketed Yatari first if they didn't feel like Lucia's character design was ready to go. Honestly, I will say this too. Lucia's original design, when I look at it, I don't think I don't think I'm as impressed by it or feel any type of way about it. I think I'm like mad indifferent to it. I don't know what it is about her original design, at least on the upper part. It just feels, it's just, I guess I'm just not, I don't want to say the word attractive because I don't feel like that's the word I'm looking for. It just like, I just guess I just feel mad indifferent to it. To me, it didn't feel like, oh, look how amazing that is. That's just not the reaction I had personally. Hold up, let me see something. Hopefully, what I'm thinking of right now isn't the cause of this shit's going slow right now, because this should have been loading up.
Different from the other two. Yes, she still had the underwear shorts, but at least her top was different. Now, it's really not. It makes us wonder as to why they made this change, and many are believing that it's for visual.
I guess I'm gonna just let it load, because at this point, there's nothing else I can do. But I do agree that possibly they changed it for visual appeal, which I have no real issue with that. But I will give like a caveat or play a little bit of like give a little extend the olive branch is like for people who didn't like the change. I would say if they kept the thickness amount of that green coloring for and like let's say done a different method of showing her chest without having to make it the way that they made it look, which is the current official design. I feel like they could have done something similar, something like that. What character can I think of that could fit the bill? Flat, damn near flat chest, but is showing in view. I'm trying to think, what character do we have in Zenless that is like that? The closest one I can think of is Ching Yi, but even then, her chest is covered. Damn. I can't use Jufufu because Jufufu is wearing a button-up shirt. Oh, you know what? I think if they changed her upper part of her outfit to, let's say, a solid green shirt, similar to how Jufufu has a solid gray shirt, and then gave her like the green cloak piece on top, I think that would have been fine. Personally. Oh my lord, this thing is loading way slower than it should be loading right now. I do not understand this. Hold up, let me try something. Hopefully that works and solves my damn issue, because I'm sitting here longer than I need to, and this reaction is becoming longer than it needs to. Good Lord in heaven, why is this happening now? Like, I don't want to end this reaction now like this. I really don't, because I want to watch the video all the way to its fullest. So I feel like my next best option is legitimately just to play it on my phone and just have the screen set like this. Because unfortunately, it's just not working for whatever God knows reason. So I got to do the next best option, which is just play it on my phone, because I have the video put on my phone. So to Nox Aura, please forgive me that I have to do this for your reaction, for the reaction to your video. I hate having to do it like this, but unfortunately, my hand is forced right now. So let's play where I left off at. Hopefully, you all be able to hear the video in my audio.
My Honkai Star Rail fatigue video, there were over 5+ characters with the same design style. I think that's when we reach a threshold like that where it becomes a bit ridiculous. I would be frustrated. 3 designs like the ones we're getting in.
Now it wants to fucking pop up. Of course. Piece of shit. Oh my lord. This shit just pissed me off. Anyway. By the grace of God, amen. Problem is solved.
At least her top was different. Now it's really not. It makes us wonder as to why they made this change.
I'm gonna make sure to put in a timestamp to skip forward when the video continues playing.
and many are believing that it's for visual appeal purposes. I would be frustrated if that's the case, as I don't think a character's individuality should be replaced due to fan service. Not that fan service is bad, but I actually usually don't mind it, but I don't want something else to be sacrificed in its place. I do think there are plenty of players blowing this out of proportion. While I do agree these designs are not nearly as strong as Season 1 designs, this is only the beginning of what could possibly be a design trend.
I will say this, personally, this whole argument of, oh, Season 2 designs aren't as good as Season 1 designs is like, for one, Season 1 contained a lot of faction characters that were organized grouped faction characters that all dressed similar to each other. So that's one. Let's go ahead and check that box off immediately. And two, that's complete subjective opinion. That's not objective, that's subjective. Because let's be honest, not every character from Season 1 is this immaculate looking character. I'd argue Grace's character design doesn't feel immaculate to me. I feel like there should be more added to Grace's character design. Because honestly, I feel like she got less in comparison to everybody else. That's just how I feel about it personally. What's another character I can think of? I think Astra Yao. I think I'm kind of indifferent to Astra Yao as well. Evelyn, she's sexy. Don't get it twisted. The tight pants, she know what she doing. But I wouldn't sit here and say that she's like top 5. She's better than any character design from Season 2. Like, no. Like, she's gorgeous, don't get it twisted, but she's not better than everything in Season 2. That's a completely subjective opinion. And, so on and so forth as we go through every damn other character in each of their factions as well. Because right now, I'm going to say this right now, the Void Hunter for version 2.5, in my opinion, don't come at my neck for this. I feel like Yi, that's what I call her, Yi, the new Void Hunter, I feel like she has a better character design than Miyabi. Now, Miyabi, her character design runs on more conservative in the sense of she's clothed from top to bottom, which there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. She got the skirt piece going on. It's a long skirt piece. Look, people find her hot just in her outfit alone because her skin is covered all the way through, which there's truth to be said about a woman covering up most of her body and not showing enough skin, because then it just makes the male eyes, the male gaze, because that's what, these games run on, these gacha games run on. Majority of them, except for Love and Deep Space, they run on the male gaze. So men, when they see a woman fully covered in clothing and she looks nice in her clothing, right? The brain just starts clicking like, man, she's hot. Good Lord in heaven. Amen. Thank you that you created the female. I cannot live on this planet that is a complete sausage party. I couldn't. I would. Let me not say that because I know YouTube probably not going to like that. But you get the point I'm making. For my fellas out there. So, yeah. Let us continue. Like, even Jufufu is hot. And she's dressed from top to bottom. Right? Of course, they sexualize her, even despite the fact of her being clothed. But still, she's still hot.
Season 1 designs, this is only the beginning of what could possibly be a design trend. I think where we should really begin to worry is if we get the drip marketing for the next patch and it's more of the same style. Hoyoverse games always seem to struggle in their second year, and I was really hoping that wouldn't be the case for Zenless Zone Zero. Honkai Star Rail fell into power creep and design fatigue. Genshin Impact Inazuma's story suffered greatly with an unsatisfying climax. So far, I think Zenless Zone Zero is doing pretty alright, but we'll have to wait and see if the design tropes continue or if they start to spruce them up again. So far, I'm definitely preferring Season 1's story and characters. Thank you so much for watching.
I'm gonna say this. Okay. Oh, she said everything she needed to say. I'm gonna say this. Let me check my boxes. Okay. In terms of story, as much as I enjoyed Season 1 story, for what it was, because like it was building up, because like the thing is, Season 1 connects directly to Season 2, and I don't understand why people can't recognize that. I understand we had this big climactic moment in version 1.4, but let's be for real, that was like a turning point moment It wasn't the end all be all. I think for some weird reason, I think people out here really view version 1.4 as the end of Zenless Zone Zero's story. And because that they have that view of it, they view anything past 1.4 as nothing but bad, or it's not as good as season 1 story. When it's like, can people not recognize that season 2 is also building up its story as well? Everything we've been doing, like, and for people that even claim that Zenless Zone Zero season 2 is filler is also retarded. Yeah, I said that word, retarded. I find it to be retarded because, one, the story is pushing forward with the Phaethon siblings going about their goal to find their teacher. And we've been finding bits and pieces of evidence to further push us forward in that direction throughout season 2. We found more direct information to finding the teacher versus back in season 1. Where we had no idea what the freak was going on, and we was building up information that we had that would later reveal a conspiracy. But now it's like we're not doing conspiracy stuff no more. Now we're actively looking for, okay, actually we kind of actually are still doing conspiracy stuff, but like not in the same way that we were doing it back in season 1. Because season 1 was the Phaethon's proxy were hidden. No one saw their face outside from the Cunning Hair group. But every other group really didn't see their face, right? Victorian Housekeeping eventually saw their faces, though. But every other group after that didn't see them physically. It's not until 1.4 do they get to see Phaethon physically and not just the Bang Boo. And then, of course, season 2, we progress. Phaethon is more main stage as a character rather than having to operate a Bang Boo throughout the hollows and shit and all this other stuff. I'm going to say this, and another thing, to leave my story point behind now because I finished it, is that, again, season 2 is us pushing the story forward. I don't understand anyone calling it filler in the slightest when it's been anything but filler. Another point that I want to mention is that season 2 is clearly a turning point in the story. I would argue another turning point in the story, right? Because actually, season 2 is the continuation of a turning point, rather. Not a turning point itself, but a continuation of a turning point. Because the original turning point was version 1.4, and we're having another turning point in version 2.5. But the extension of a turning point that season 2 is what I mean by extension. I mean from from 1.4 all the way to where we are now currently, which is version 2.4. Well, 2.4 ain't released yet, but I think it's going to release soon. By the time it reaches like 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, my time. Because right now it is 8:50 as of me finishing my reaction. So, I believe, like I said, before we reach version 2.5, we're still in the midst of a continuation of a turning point that was started in version 1.4. With the story, characters, so on. Right? And I think another thing too is that people got really attached to season 1 that they don't want to move forward into season 2 because they have the viewpoint of, oh, well, it's the second year of the game, it's a Hoyoverse game, therefore it's going to fall off, it's going to become bad, blah blah blah. So naturally they have that natural prejudice in their mind, which I'm not going to say is unfounded, as the thing she said earlier, for the reasons why the expectation of season 2 for Zenless to fall into the gutter is something that people are worried about, which I understand, because again, Hoyoverse track record, right? So it's like, how can I say this? I just feel like people need to, one, stop engaging with doom posters. That's for first, and for two, come into season 2 with an open mind. Because I do believe a lot of this whole negativity towards season 2, of course, the first half of it comes from the whole, it's a Hoyoverse game. It's expected to fall in season 2 of the game, as with the track record of the other two, right? That's the first half of it. And the other half of it comes from doom posters who want Zenless Zone Zero to fail in the gutter, just so they can say that their game, Wuthering Waves, is better, because aka Saint Tontas and niggas like him. Because I do believe he played a role in this as well, with the community perception of the game, both inside and out. The amount of doom posting he's done about Zenless, goalpost shifting, and so on, and I do believe it's had an effect on the community, both inside and outside the game. Most definitely. and I will stand by that position. What else do I need to say? There's probably some things I've said that I didn't finish saying in the midst of this reaction, but I think I'm gonna leave it as is. And anything else I need to add on, I'll put it in my comment section below. So I'll say this to finish off. I think she did a good video. I think this is a good video. I give her my support. I'll leave a link to her video in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. Go like, sub, turn on the notification bell, and and check out my yapping topics videos and my yap reaction videos. Both playlists are on my channel. Go join my YouTube community Discord if you wish. The link is on my Discord. Oh, my bad. The link to my YouTube community Discord is on my YouTube channel. You'll see it. It's blatantly there. The link still works, hopefully. Again, like I said in the beginning, none of my points of pushback is directed at her as a person. It's directed at the argumentation of the people who are making these claims, rather than her making those claims. So, again, I wanted to preface that one last time. So, before I even end it, help your boy reach 500 subs. I am so close to reaching 500 subs. The last video I posted, not gonna lie, I appreciate the support y'all gave. I appreciate the views and the subscription, because we know Glaive Keo was on some bullshit. And I can't wait to see him either make a YouTube community post or video trying to defend his nonsense. I can't wait. If he doesn't make a video about it, that tells me he either accepts the fact that he was wrong or he's doubling down. I'm going to lean on the latter, that he's going to double down. Anyway, see y'all later. This is KallaTheYapper signing out. Peace.